Hey, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. Hope you're watching on SIFTD.net. That means you're a Patreon patron, and thank you very much if you are. It's not expensive, a couple bucks a month, and you can support Shane's efforts. So please do it if you can. If you can't, I understand. But if you can't and you have an Amazon Prime membership, link it to your Twitch account. Instructions below, really easy to do. Once you've done it, you got to renew it every month. So if you haven't renewed it in a month or two, click the link below, please, and we will get paid by Amazon. It costs you nothing. It's free for you. You're already paying for it in your Prime membership. And if you are doing either of those or not, you got to follow us on Twitter, at Michael Pachter, at Dinfire, at SIFTD Games. Let's get to questions this week. Our first question from YouTube from Dipsy Doodle. It was recently revealed that an artist was working on Grand Theft Auto 6 way back in 2017. Based on this, when do you think it'll be released? Grand Theft Auto 5 was finished in 2013. Grand Theft Auto 5 on the next-gen consoles came out in 2014. Grand Theft Auto Online came out right at the end of 14, and let's say the entire team worked on it all year in 2015 and 2016. Don't you think by then that maybe one or two guys could be freed up to work on Grand Theft Auto 6? Like, yeah. I mean, ask yourself, when FIFA comes out, when do they start working on next year's FIFA? That day. Like, come on. Of course they are. I think that developers take a week or a month off after they get a game out, and then they all start working on it. Your question should have said, how lame is Rockstar North that they put out Grand Theft Auto 5 in 2013 and they didn't start working on it till 2017, the next one. They started working on it in 2014, for sure. Now, I don't know if artists started working on it. The guys who were doing level design were working with the guys who write the story and figuring out the framework of the game. And the rumor is it's a mashup of San Andreas and Vice City and GTA 4 and GTA 5. No, you never know with Rockstar. Yeah. And by the way, that could change 16 times. But, you know, I think the truth is that GTA 3 came out in 2001. GTA Vice City came out in 2002. So it took them a whopping year. GTA San Andreas came out in 2004, so it took them 2 years. GTA 4 came out in April of 2008, so it took them 3.5 years. Yeah, 3.5 years from fall of 04. Yeah, and then GTA 5 came out in 2013, so it took them 5.5 years. So it's first game, then 1 year, 2 years, 3.5, 5.5. So
now we're gonna hit 7, right? Which means next year.
Well, if it were 7, it would be next year. Yeah, and so a lot of people think next year. I actually think that the hang-up at Rockstar is that the Hauser brothers are, what makes them successful is that they're incredibly hands-on. And they control every aspect of game development, from story development to actually directing the voice work, the character actor voice work. And, you know, there are a lot of developers like that. Ken Levine's like that as well. Where they just really seriously want to sit in on everything. And, you know, it's one thing if it's Call of Duty and you hire Kiefer Sutherland to be the gruff sergeant with the gravelly voice. It's another thing when you're casting, you know, Ray Liotta or whoever does voices in Grand Theft Auto. You know, they want this to be like a movie. And so they're going to be there and they're going to direct it, and they really are directing a film. So each one takes longer, mostly because each one is more ambitious than one before. And I think they're setting out to make the most ambitious game ever. I think that the single player campaign is going to be 200 hours, you know, more, 300 hours. So this game is going to be, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if this game, you know, if there are discs, if it came out on 3 discs. I mean, it just, but there might not be discs, we'll find out. But it's going to be a big ass game. So when I say 10 years, it doesn't take 10 years to develop it. It probably takes 5, but they probably aren't able to start in earnest on the game until the story is done. Because the Hausers are ambitious guys, and they're building this giant universe, and they're going to have a story about every little place in the universe that you can visit. And I don't think that they're going to greenlight level design until the whole universe is built out and understood. So artwork for sure, but I just think it takes forever to get these games out because they're so ambitious. So these guys are going to make, like I said, a 200-hour game experience. I'd say 10 years is right. And my guess is that they didn't start writing GTA 6 in 2014. They probably spent all of 2014 writing GTA Online and figuring out all the expansions and where they were taking that. They probably spent the bulk of 15 doing that, but they probably started working on the game in earnest in 16. And so I'd say 7 years development, 2023 is right, but this is Rockstar. Why don't we rephrase your question? It was revealed that somebody is working on Max Payne 4, or it was revealed that somebody is working on LA Noire 2, or Midnight Club 4, or Bully 2, or Manhunt 3. Remember when those games came out? Because Bully is in the 2000s, 2007 maybe, Manhunt maybe 7 or 8, Midnight Club 09, LA Noire 11, Max Payne 12. Where are those games? Now, maybe none of them are coming. I don't know, because Rockstar's not very good about letting us know what they're working on, and Take-Two management refuses to tell us. But I remember the Rockstar blog, which I used to read, and I don't even know if they blog anymore, but I used to read it maybe, 4 years ago. They confirmed that sequels to all those games are in development, including Red Dead. And they actually confirmed that Agent was still in development, but they just relinquished the copyright trademark for Agent, so my guess is it's not coming. And so look, this is a big studio. They have a lot of projects going. And as I said, the constraint is that the Housers work on everything. And you know why their games are so great? Because the Housers work on everything. So no diss to the Housers, but they are only two guys and they can't do everything all at once. And so I think it's very hard to work on multiple projects in parallel. So the better question is, when is Max Payne coming? When is LA Noire coming? When is Midnight Club coming? Because I think those games are. I really do. And I think that the Housers are working on them. So if I had to bet 2020, Christmas 2020, Christmas 21, Christmas 22, one of those three games each. Christmas 23, Grand Theft Auto. That's my bias. Could GTA move ahead of one of the other ones? Yeah. Do they care? No. These guys definitely don't consider themselves epic with Fortnite one-hit wonder. They consider themselves multiple hits, and they're right. Look at how great Red Dead is. They are not going to let that fade. They're going to keep these other brands going. Next question from Patreon from my good friend Keith McWomble. How are you, Keith? What impact will 5G mobile networks have on gaming? Do you see this helping products like Stadia and whatever Microsoft streaming service might be? What would it mean for the current mobile game market if there's console quality games available on the platform via streaming? Okay, so the problem with 5G, it will be amazing when it happens, but it's an infrastructure play. So it's not a technology play, it's an infrastructure play. The technology exists. What we need is every cell tower to have 5G. And so you're going to have your device, for sure. Your device will be 5G. But if the cell tower that you're getting your signal from isn't 5G, you don't have 5G, so it doesn't make any difference. And I have no clue how many cell towers there are, but I believe that that cell towers have to be, every 7,000 or 9,000 feet or something like that. So it's every couple of miles, and less than a couple of miles. And it's when you have more dense population, you need more cell towers because they can only handle 40,000 people, or I don't even know how many, but tens of thousands of people. So, New York City, you need them like every 1,000 feet or whatever. And so who builds those? Well, as you're paying $30 a month for your cell phone bill, there isn't enough profit there for anybody to build a cell tower. So 5G is going to take a while because the guys who have to make that investment have to figure out how they get paid for that investment, and that means that they're going to charge more for cell phones, cell phone service. And I don't think consumers want to pay more. So I think this is going to be a 5 to 7 year rollout. So to answer your question, in 2025, I think we're going to start seeing all this happen, but not before. So yes, I think it'll help all internet. And to be honest with you, why do we have wired anything anywhere? I mean, other than wired power, why do you need wired internet in your home? Why do we have wireless in the home, but you need the internet to get into your home? So we have fiber coming into the home or something, or telecom or cable. We should be getting our internet through 5G as well. So the real upside is, I think, you're going to get internet service from your mobile provider. That's where I really think 5G is going. They're not going to charge more for mobile, they're going to charge more for internet. So the ISP that you pay right now who's got the fiber into your house is going to shift over, and it's going to be AT&T or Verizon that's charging you for your internet. And again, that's a whole new business model change. That's going to take years to work, but it's going to work. And when you have that, then the answer to your question is yes. I see streaming services taking off, and I think you're going to play console quality games on your phone. But we're years away. I mean, it's a really smart question. It's just that I think people take for granted that because the technology exists, we're all going to adopt it, and it just costs money to do it. So the play is to own the guys who build internet infrastructure, mobile internet infrastructure, like Ericsson. They're the guys who are going to be doing it. Who's building all these cell towers? It's those guys. So it'll be fascinating to watch. It's like having a 4K TV and no 4K broadcast. Who cares?
I don't have a 4K TV.
Right, me either. Next question from Patreon from Mike M. Garcia. What do you think of the Intellivision Amico? Will I see Tommy Tallarico at E3? Tommy is the best guy ever. So yes, I'm rooting for Tommy. I don't know if the Intellivision Amico is an idea that's 10 years too late or 10 years too early. If you remember, we had all those plug and play devices back in the 2007-8 time period. You could get your little Atari $20, plug it into your TV, and it had all the games preloaded. Intellivision is much, much more sophisticated than that, and it's a real retro device. It's got remember the controller had the funny, all the
little sleeves that you'd slide.
Yeah, it was fun.
Like
so baseball had like outfielders and stuff. Yeah, they're gonna do that. So I loved Intellivision. Like I thought it was
back in 1983.
Yeah, was that what it was?
Around there.
Yeah. So anyway, I loved Intellivision. I actually remember buying a PC, like a Dell PC back in the 90s probably, that had an Intellivision disc that had the library, all the old games. I'm sure I still have the disc somewhere. So I love it. I think it's a great idea. I don't know if they've announced pricing, but
the rumors are like $300.
Yeah, so pricing matters. So if it's inexpensive, then it'll work, and if it's too expensive, it won't. I love Tommy. Tommy's coming to my E3 party because that's the kind of guys I invite to my E3 party. I love Tommy. Tommy's a fixture at my E3 party, by the way. I hope it works. I think it sounds really fun, and we'll see if consumers embrace it. But I think it's a good idea. And do yourself a favor, buy one. Just support, because it supports people who are trying to do fun things in games and make things. If it's $500, don't buy it. But if it's $100, I'll buy one. I mean, we should. And I don't know. I don't think it's all that complicated. It's like I'd be surprised if it's $300, but I don't know the answer.
The key is it's like open, so they can add stuff to it.
Right, totally.
If it was just a collection of Intellivision games,
no, it's not that.
That would be worth like $2.
No, it's gonna let people put stuff
like a
on.
Raspberry Pi console.
It'd be fun. Let's hope it works. Well, like Ouya was like that too, but I hope it works. Last question this week from YouTube from Yarden Angel. Hi, Pachter. Love your work. Thank you very much. And when I eventually win the lottery, you are the first person I'm calling. Why is that? You're going to give me some money?
No, he wants financial advice on how to invest.
Oh, of course. I'll help you. Oh, I would help you before you win the lottery. Should Microsoft completely reveal the next Xbox at E3, or is it smarter to withhold some information for a later date? Thanks and take care. I don't think there's a chance that they reveal the next Xbox at E3, and I understand that you think Sony has shamed them into it because Sony's given us PS5 specs. I think Microsoft's biding their time. Yeah, I don't know why you need to show anything a year and a half early. I don't think it helps. I don't think it matters. We all know it's coming, so I don't think it matters. And I think they're more focused on streaming, so no. But yeah, I think we'll get it between E3 and next year's E3, and my bias is actually in between, like an Xbox formal event at GDC or CES or a standalone event in Redmond. I don't think you need to say it at E3, and I'm not sure that they've necessarily settled on everything. They got the same PS5 spec leak that you did, and intentional leak, and they want to make sure they're competitive. So I think E3 might be too soon, but I'm not sure. Developers know, so you're right, maybe they can. I think this is going to be an uneventful E3. Thank you very much for joining us on this week's Pachter Factor. If you're watching us on Patreon, you're Patreon patron, you're watching on SIFTD, thanks very much for the patronage. If you are watching it a week late on YouTube, that's because you're too cheap to pay on Patreon, which means you owe us the obligation of linking your Prime account to your Twitch account. Instructions below, really easy to do. Just remember to re-up it every month. It doesn't cost you anything. And your Amazon Prime membership is enough, and Amazon will pay us. And I don't get paid, a shame. And no matter what, whether you're a Patreon patron or a Twitch linked Prime member or nothing, follow us on Twitter, please, at Michael Pachter, at Dinfire, at SIFTD Games. We'll see you next week.